Hey everyone, Darth Synovia here. This took a while to come up with. I'm done with Lucasfilm series, and I think there's some people. I need to clear things up because the last Legends podcast I was a part of, I think people don't understand why I don't want to support Legends. Not because I hate it. It's not the Legends banner. I hate the Legends banner, I really do, but that's not why. In fact, under better circumstances, I can look at Legends with pride to even consider something like this, because I consider this legendary. These are really good. The expanded universe is amazing, but that's not the point. I think people need to understand that this is beyond what is in the fandom. This is beyond being a fan of Star Wars. This is about being a human being. This is about not wanting to tolerate being treated like shit as a human being. Like examples. Being bullied by fans of the people at Lucasfilm. Of course, the people at CBS do it with Star Trek as well. To support Star Wars, especially the Legends universe. What happens when we because when they restart Legends, when they do, for me, it's a lose-lose situation. Because I hate Lucasfilm and Disney. I loathe the company. You guys, that's something I need to clear up with everyone. I hate this company so much that I don't want to give them my money. Even for Legends, it's difficult. It's difficult for me to give them money. Because I feel like by giving them my money, I give away part of my dignity. Honestly. I may have no choice but to give them my money for any book that I've yet to have or comic. But I just feel like I'm giving away my dignity by giving these people my money. And it's just, I shouldn't have to put up with this shit. No one should. We're not a bunch of drug addicts that need our fix. I know it's an insult to compare drugs to the expanded universe. But I'm going to use that analogy because it works here. You know, or someone, you get abused by your wife or girlfriend. I'm using that because I'm a guy. You could use the reverse if you're a female. And they're asking you to come back to them and promise they'll never treat you this way again. They'll never beat you again. But things are good for a while. But then, right when things start settling down again, bam! They do it again. Why does this apply to the expanded universe? To me, I feel like supporting the EU at first, I believe, giving Legends again, I personally believe, I want to be wrong with the way, the current leadership of Lucasfilm. I don't think if they continued the EU, they would treat it like shit. They would treat it worse than they are now. The reason they're not treating it as bad now because they're not publishing any new material. They're just reprinting old material under a different banner. But what happens when they actually do reprint it? Restart the expanded universe, when they actually continue it? Would they put as much care with the writing, with the continuity like they did before? And let's just say what they release is awful. And you choose not to support it because the writing is awful. Do you support garbage because you don't want something that you love gone forever? Because I'm pretty sure that that's what would probably happen. I'm sorry that I sound like a pessimist. I really do. I'm sorry, but I feel like I'm one of the few people in the movement, that actually is kind of realistic. I want the expanding universe to be continued, but What if what they give us is trash? What if they don't give us what we want for the Sword of the Jedi trilogy and the 90-year period between Crucible and the Legacy comics? Would they give us the ending for those characters that they deserve? Because they treat them like crap, and the main canon. What makes you think they wouldn't do it in Legends? Because it's not canon anyway. In their eyes, they would treat it even worse. It's just, what if we get people like Chuck Wendig to write for the expanded universe? What if we get people like him? And we're put in a position where if we support it, we lose because garbage is being released. If we don't support it, we lose because they can kill it for good. Because the movement will not recover if the first new Legends book that does get released doesn't sell well. I know I may be thinking of a conspiracy theory here, but what if they do that? What if Lucasfilm, because one of my YouTube subscribers, what if they try to sabotage the EU somehow, have an excuse not to continue it by releasing something that's bottom of the barrel trash? Because most of the new canon doesn't sell as well as the old stuff. What if they get people like Chuck Wendig writing for Legends? Wrote one of the first new canon novels, for Legends. What if they do that? What if they get someone who can't write? It would put us in a bad position where we support it. We'll get talentless writers like Chuck Wendig to write for Legends. If we don't support it, they'll pull the plug, and it'll be dead for good. Okay, I'm thinking of the worst case scenario, but I actually strongly believe that's what could potentially happen. And it's bad enough how they treat Star Wars. They have no artistic integrity whatsoever. I refuse to support a company that treats its fans like trash. But every time I buy a Star Wars book new, it makes me look like a hypocrite for doing that. Because I don't stand by my principles. So what the hell do I do? Ask me. I'm asking you guys. Do I stand by my principles and not support anything regarding Star Wars? Because me doing that sabotages our movement. It helps sabotages it. Because what if there's people like myself who are watching this video right now and they see an EU fan like myself doesn't want to support it? What if they don't support it either? You see how dangerous my words can be? So, no, I feel like it's a lose-lose situation. The more in the movement I get into, the more I realize I'm too deep in it to back out now. Because how committed I am to it. And people like Jeremy, Dylan, Bill, they're good people. They really are. I like them. I don't want to let them down. I really don't. But how do I do? I have high respects for them. I really do. And people like Matt Wilkins, I have a huge respect for those people. I think they've done a lot of good for the Star Wars, movement. Of course, in my opinion, I can't tell my personal feelings. I think Matt Wilkins did unintentionally may have made things worse with the gatekeeper thing, because I've thought about it in great detail. I think the term gatekeeper is total nonsense. It should have never been used. I don't like bad-mouthing him, because Matt Wilkins, I have respect for the guy. He's the reason I'm a Star Wars fan now. If it weren't for Matt's videos, I would have quit Star Wars for good. I would have never even bothered reading the expanded universe after it had been declared non-canon. This is the influential power someone can have. Matt Wilkins is the reason I'm still a Star Wars fan. No joke. If someone who is such a hardcore fan like him could continue to love the EU despite its canon status, then I thought at the time, I can too, and I do. But it puts me in a dilemma because I'm a man of my principles, and I want to stand by them. But how do I do that and still support the movement? Because one way to support the movement, donations is a good way. Well, I could donate some of my books. That could be one way of doing it. I could buy some books from my local Barnes & Noble. I could do reviews. I could talk about the expanded universe. I could do what I'm doing on my Facebook page. There's ways I can contribute. But buying Legends New is a good way to support the movement. But it's difficult for someone like me who is a man of his principles. I want to stand by what I say, but I can't do that really. It makes me look like a hypocrite. I feel like a hypocrite. Honestly. If we didn't have assholes like Papagato, in that woman, I don't even want to say her name. If they weren't, it's more Papagato. If we didn't have people like that running in Lucasfilm, I wouldn't be so in the fence of supporting them. And hell, if it weren't for Papagato, I would give the new canon a chance, a fair one. I would still be reading it had it not been for him. People like him drove me away from that part of the Star Wars. I could have been a fan of both canons, despite me hating The Force Awakens. But Papagato pushed me away. Why should me, give the new garbage a chance when this guy spews bullshit on Twitter? It doesn't even act professional. And one thing I gotta make myself clear, I've supported the EU as much as I can, whatever way I can, but I don't know how to do that without going against my principles. And I'm not going to buy the same books I already bought multiple times. Yes, I may have already done that with some of the hardcovers, but that's because I'm a collector of hardcovers and I love hardcovers. I would like to support them as little as possible. And I just want to clear any misunderstanding that there is within, people in the Star Wars fandom, the EU community, that my reason for not wanting to support Lucasfilm is very personal. I don't like supporting a company that bullies its fans, that treats its fans like second-class fans, and has no respect for the original creator. It disregards everything that he did. It doesn't matter if you're a fan of the original trilogy, the prequels, or the expanded universe. I'm sick and tired of having to call myself an expanded universe fan. No, I'm sick of it. I'm sick and tired of having to explain myself. When I talk about the EU, because there's a portion of the community that, Lucasfilm especially, that doesn't consider it Star Wars. No, I am not an EU fan. I'm a Star Wars fan. Damn it. I am tired of having to go by that label. I'm a Star Wars fan, not a freaking EU fan or a Legends fan. I'm a Star Wars fan. There's certain aspects of Star Wars that I'm a bigger fan of than others, such as the original trilogy in the expanded universe, the original. And there's parts of the Star Wars fandom I loathe The Force Awakens and the new canon. But I am a Star Wars fan. I am not an EU fan or a Legends fan. I'm not going by that label. I refuse to go by that label. And as long as we have people like Papa Gata working for Lucasfilm, I'm standing my ground. I really am. I may have repeated myself throughout the video, but I gotta reiterate my point multiple times so you guys can understand where I'm coming from. We all have our reasons for not wanting to give Lucasfilm more money. Some people don't want to give Lucasfilm their money because of what they did to the expanded universe. Some people don't want to give their money to anything but the old canon. Some people don't want to give their Lucas money at all. If I weren't part of the EU movement, I probably could safely say I would not support Lucasfilm. I would buy everything used, not new, even new stuff released by Lucasfilm. But since I'm actually part of the movement, I'm not a big member of the movement, but I am a member. Just call me one of the rebel generals of the Rebel Alliance. I can't back out. Honestly, I have to live by example. I may not be the best example of the EU movement. I really am not. I'm not the best example, you can think of. But I want to be a man of my principles outside of the Star Wars fandom. But it's very difficult when I'm put in a dilemma where I have to support Legends to get more Legends. When there's more new Legends material, the scary thought is just getting some hack of a writer like Chuck Wendig writing for Legends. Because I don't want to support someone who just doesn't put any passion into Star Wars. I'm not the kind of person that loves Star Wars because of the name. I love it for the story, the characters, and the lore. That to me is why I love Star Wars. I don't love it for the visual aspect, for the music, and vice versa. I love it for the characters, the story, and the lore, everything about it. And I hope I'm wrong. I'm sorry if I'm pessimistic, but I feel like I need to get my true feelings out, and I gotta make it clear. It makes me look like a hypocrite because this is part of my I'm Done with Lucasfilm series. So answer the question for me, those who are watching the video. How can I support a company when, that I loathe because of the way they treat their fans and how they make me feel like an outcast of the very fandom that I love? And I just don't know anymore. Comment in the comment section and tell me what your thoughts are. And B, tell me your real thoughts. Don't hesitate to give your actual opinions, because to me, this needed to be said. I hope I don't have to do another video on this topic. I feel like this is the end of my I'm Done with Lucasfilm series, because I had a chance to think about it for months for the final part. It was originally going to be 4, but I decided it would be redundant. Think of this is part 3 and 4, considering it's basically everything I thought about throughout the months and decided to compile it in one video, because I think it's pointless to drag it out any further. I may have to support Lucasfilm, but that doesn't mean I have to like it.